Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I think it's going to be more of a scrapbooking layout. If it's something that you are interested in, you're more than welcome to keep on watching, and if not, then there are plenty of other videos that you can enjoy which are watercolor related. So before I show you the entire process, which might take a long time and I'm not going to restrict myself, I probably will do a voiceover throughout the entire process. However, before I start, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this journal. So I made a separate video where I showed what's going on so far in this journal and what it is about. So I call it my all in one place journals. So basically, you know, it could be watercolor illustrations, it could be scrapbooking, it could be anything or everything that I find interesting or pretty and I want to keep. So it's going to be a little bit of a, you know, one pot thing, and it's going to really take shape as I go on, because at the moment I'm just kind of collecting things, and then once I establish what's going where, I'm going to move things around and do it that way. So I also done the process video for this little illustration here, which was super fun. It was really good just to take a little bit of time. This was 10-minute process, and do some doodling in the journal and not really needing to think, which journal am I going to stick this in? Is this going to be into my floral? Is this going to go into my doodle journal or fashion journal, whatever? So this was just pure fun, and that's that. Now, oh, you might have actually noticed I've done this stamping after, so it says keeping things simple, which is basically what this was all about. Very simple and fun. So the paper I'm going to use today is a paper that I actually need to stock up on. It's the Aquarelle Block by Tiger. So this is a store in England. So I know there is a couple of them in London, I think, and also where I live as well. So it's a chain. I go to the one in Cambridge, and I only have a few pages left, and it's actually surprisingly good for the value. It's kind of really affordable, but really good quality as well. This is one of the pieces I've done here with artist quality watercolors, and it just looks stunning, so I would really recommend it. So I cut it to the size of this journal, and I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keepers punch to create the holes, and then once that's done, I'm going to start on the process. And what I'm going to be doing today is, I've got the Daphne's Diary journal just now. I went to Tesco's quickly. There was an issue, I think an older issue of Daphne, so it looked like an autumn issue, and there was a picture there that I really liked, so I want to somehow make a scrapbooking layout for it. So I hope you will enjoy this process. Let's start. Okay, so I'm grabbing my puncher from the We Are Memory Keepers, and I used a smaller punch hole just because I find that with the binding rings it sits neatly, and yeah, so if you prefer a bigger hole punch that makes the pages move a little bit easier around the ring hole, then you can do that as well. So that's my start. So I used that paper from the Tiger to begin with, and that will be the base. Now I'm grabbing the Daphne's Diary magazine, which is the issue 7 of this year, and it looks like the autumn issue, and I'm sure the next issue is probably supposed to come out fairly soon. So there were, however, still a few pages there. Any of her magazines are super inspiring, and there were a few pages that I wanted to use, and particularly this recipe for the red velvet cupcakes. Red velvet cake is my favorite cake ever, and so yeah, really happy about it, that there is this recipe. And I decided to scrapbook it in such a way that not only am I keeping the pictures, but it's actually going to be a practical way of keeping it, so that I can use the recipe and actually you know, read it up. So I could have just stuck with some glue the picture and that's it, but it will be attached in such a way that I can flip the picture to the other side. So here I pulled out my Tim Holtz distress cutter. So I think it was designed to use for cutting threads or distressing paper. So it's great to achieve this kind of distressed edge of the paper. And by the way, the scrapbooking paper that I chose is from the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. So it's got very subtle print of pretty flowers, which I thought worked really well with the picture. Now I'm getting a pack out of doilies. These are super tiny doilies. When I was ordering them, I thought they would be slightly bigger, and I'm struggling to find a middle size of doilies. So here in UK we seem to not have a big choice of anything craft related, so I managed to find these tiny ones and I was super happy. But in reality I need something that's in between this very cute small size and the super huge doilies. So if you know, then do let me know. Also what I'm doing here is I'm using some tissue paper and cutting it to size, which gives it a lovely kind of extra texture to the layout, rather than just, you know, gluing the image to the scrapbooking paper. So here I'm creating more texture even by scrunching up all the tissue sheets. I think I have about 4 there, and then I am changing the sides so that they don't look like they were freshly cut, you know, just in like one straight line, but have again extra texture. So about scrapbooking, I find that if you play with textures, use different mediums, that's when it becomes interesting. But I like the color scheme to be quite subtle and pretty and light. So here I pulled out the Tim Holtz tiny attacher. It's the best thing ever. I mean, Tim Holtz is just a genius. I was about to swear there, but yeah, I held myself back. But in a good way, he really is a genius. The products he comes up with comes truly from a person who is a crafter. And you know, when you craft and you spend a lot of time in your studio, you then know exactly what products you need, and that's where it comes from. So then I'm also grabbing these cute little glassine bags, which are totally inspired. This idea of putting a little tag into glassine bag is totally inspired by Sue's Fish. She is an amazing scrapbooker, and in particular what I like about her scrapbooking, that it's not on a 6x6 or a 12x12 layout, because I just cannot deal with these restrictions. I like my art to come through and my creativity to come through on different sizes, on different textures, and I just like these kind of crafty paper projects, which is why I love her channel so much. So if I won't forget, I'll try to leave a link below for her videos. So now moving on to finding a little bit of like yarn or cotton thread. These are for embroidery. I used to embroider ages and ages ago, and I've got a box full of all sorts of colors and it's quite useful. So I picked this kind of like a burgundy color, which works really well and sets off the blueberries quite nicely. So I'm pulling it through the tag, and that I could have just left it like that and cut it short, but I decided to tie a little bow and just, again, extra texture, extra cuteness, and looks pretty neat. And so yeah, you can basically, the idea is great for the tag because you can hide your journaling in there. You do your journaling, and if you don't want it to be right there on the front page, but you do want to put some thoughts together and you're a little bit conscious about what you're writing, then this is a great way. Or maybe you're conscious of your handwriting or the thoughts or anything. So now I have moved on to these stickers. So these stickers come from Pink Fresh Studio, I think, and I didn't buy them separately. They came in a scrapbooking kit that I bought a while ago, and they're a little bit puffy and they have like a gold foil on them, and I hardly ever would use it for anything because, like in journals for example, it's a little bit two-dimensional. But for this type of thing where the pages are separately attached in the journal, the ring binder journal, then I can build up the layers and dimension and not worry about it. So here I opened up the Heidi Swapp. This is the memory planner kit. It's called the Time Capsule Embellishment Kit, and it is really fun. So it's got loads of different things like die cuts, some embellishments. It's got some foil die cuts as well as paper. It's got a washi tape bit in there, and then some stickers, numbers, even some paper clips. You can see right there on the left, they look like envelopes. They come in black, gold and silver. And also this is the color palette of this particular kit. It's the black, gold, silver and white. And the final thing that there is, which you'll see in a bit, there is a stamp set, even very, very cute little stamps. So if you want to buy something that has loads of things in there and you don't need to go and source stamps and die cuts separately, then this type of a kit is great for that. So I decided fittingly to put a little die cut which says Love Live, and this is what that page is all about. Me enjoying my Wednesday time off when Mason is in the nursery, and I have guilt-free fun. Actually, this heart looks so good where it is placed, but I think I'll just end up with the two. I should have kept the bigger one there, but yeah, so that's what the page is all about. So I'm still considering whether I should put this little heart somewhere else. And the next thing I'm grabbing here is that stamp set that I just talked about. So I will use the little date stamp from there, so that will go on the tag, as you will see in a minute. Okay, so it is now finished, and I just wanted to show you, and the last things that I've done is basically adhered the tissue paper at the back, which you saw, just with this Tombow runner or glue runner, And yeah, that is it. And then off camera I have stapled in a second staple because the recipe card was a little bit too kind of movable, and now it stays in place. And it is a great way to just keep a recipe which looks so great, and that's why Daphne's diaries are perfect for it. And then you have the recipe here, so I'm definitely going to try out these red velvet cupcakes because my favorite cake of all cakes is the red velvet cake. So to be able to make these little cupcakes, I have actually never tried to make it myself, so we'll definitely give it a go. And yeah, what else? Oh yes, so I've done the journaling here, which basically you can pull out and read. So I journaled on both sides, and that for me is such a great way to be able to write down what I think without kind of feeling like I'm exposing myself. And it makes me feel good that I am able to put something pretty as a memory down, write, do some scrapbooking, and just something that was really basic and simple makes it quite special, because the journaling here basically says about, you know, my son turning 3 over the weekend and how he's growing up now, and Wednesdays are my kind of special days in terms of it's the first time in 3 years that I'm getting quite a few hours to myself in the morning and then in the afternoon. So it is really fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm just going to put it into this little journal that I have, and let's see. So I'm planning to make a mixture of things here. So I'm thinking of putting it on the first page because I'm liking it so much. You could keep a journal just for the recipes, but like I said, I want to have a bit of everything in mine. So I'm going to do it this way. That's it. And then here, if I wanted to, I could actually cut in. I put it a little bit too high. So that way I could actually cut this bit out. Like so. There we go, and that way there is no obstruction here. So I think this looks rather neat. So I've got my tag, little ribbon here or twine, and then you open it up and you've got a lovely page to look at with some journaling inside. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the process, and thanks for watching, and see you soon.